Happy weekend, viewers. You find me coming to you live from the M5 on my way back to Cornwall. My carbon footprint experiment, where the other day I discovered that NatWest are allocating all of my spending to my daily carbon allowance. Who knew such a thing existed? Apparently it's been there for 2 years, nobody knew. But why would you bother needing to do that if you weren't going to do something with it at a later date? So I announced the great experiment because I am currently on day 3 of what is, it can only be described as a massive bender. So I said what I'll do is I will only use that NatWest card if I need to spend money on a card, and that way we'll be able to find out how much of my year's allowance I've used up simply by going out for a few days. So that is not the purpose of this video. This is merely an update. I've had a genius idea. So Thursday I went for a Turkish shave. I'm sure that comes with its own carbon allowance. You know, I'm not sure the Turkish barbers and their money laundering is subject to the same allowance, but you know, we live in a multicultural world, so it's fine. They can crack on, and they can spring up on every high street. And I have to say, whatever crime syndicate was running this particular barbers that I was in, they were fantastic. I had a lovely time. Wax up the nostrils, in the ears, bit of threading, cutthroat shave, hot towels, mega. First time I've ever been to one. Highly recommended. Yes, morally and ethically not correct, but then again, most of the stuff I do isn't morally and ethically correct, so what does it matter? Then I went out for a burger and a pint. That won't go down very well with the old carbon allowance. And then I spent a fortune on various alcoholic beverages during the evening. So that's my carbon allowance used up there that day. And then yesterday I went to Cheltenham races, and then went out for a curry last night. So again, I've hammered the old allowance. I'm not going to look until the end of the experiment. That's the plan. But whilst I was at Cheltenham races yesterday, and I'd had several alcoholic beverages, it was like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I suddenly had a genius idea, very much like my idol Mr. Clarkson. And he goes, I have a genius idea. Now, it's as follows. With the zero emission vehicle mandate, the thing that says that all cars must be electric by 2035, and the amount they sell has to go up every year, even though it's not going up by anywhere near the targets that the government set. So they've chucked hybrids in on top. And then they said to everyone, all the car manufacturers, well, don't worry, if you haven't sold many, Tesla have sold loads, so you can have some of their carbon credits, and that'll bring you up because they're overachieving. Yes, it makes a mockery of the entire system, and it just means that everyone can share it out, so it looks like the targets are being hit when they're not being hit at all, and it's just a load of bollocks. But I thought that is the future, because if when they bring in the digital ID with your carbon allowance tied up to your bank account as part of your digital ID, and it becomes like the Chinese social credit system, things that I'm doing now for the next 10 days I won't be able to do, because I guarantee you I've used up my carbon allowance for beer for about the year in the last 2 days. But I thought, it don't matter, I've got 30,000 followers. We collectively come together and share our carbon allowances out. If you're allowed to do it as a car manufacturer, I'm just driving past a Tesla as we speak. If you're allowed to do it as the car manufacturer, why can't you do it as a private citizen? So here's how it works. It's very simple. I'm on the lash for 10 days. I'm going to need some carbon credits, but it's all right because Mike in Worcester, he ain't going nowhere. He's doing Stoptober. So he's stacked up loads of beer credits. He don't need them. Tone, you can have mine this month. Somebody has run out on a Friday night. They want to go to the pub for a few pints, meet their mates, but they can't because they've got no carbon allowance yet. Doesn't matter. Michelle in Stratford, she's on Stoptober as well. You can have that. Next week, I'm flying to Benidorm, but I haven't got any flight credits left. No problem, Tone. I ain't going on holiday this year. You can have mine. I'm only going Benidorm. I won't use that much. Oh, that's all right then. See how it works? It's like a global cooperative that does that to the actual net zero bollocks. It's an idea that is full of such genius. There's people out there that don't eat meat. Vegetarians of the world, I never thought I'd be saying this, particularly vegans, you're my new Bezzy, because you ain't using your meat allowance ever. And I'm never going to use my vegan allowance. That's for fucking certain. So, we can just swap. Alright, vegan Victor? Yeah, you? Yeah. I'm going to need your meat allowance this month. I've had 3 burgers, 2 steaks and some pulled pork. Yeah, no worries, Tom. I don't touch your stuff. Brilliant, I'll have that. You'll also be pleased to hear, vegan Victor, I haven't had no salad in any of them burgers. Have me salad. Oh, cheers, Tone. Thanks very much. Honestly, this is one of the greatest ideas I've ever had. It cannot fail. It is absolute genius. I mean, obviously, we'll all have individual digital IDs and we'll all be in digital prisons of our own making, and no credits will be allowed to be shared because that would make a mockery of the entire control system. But nevertheless, this is genius. If we can... I knew a bloke once who had a tag for various misdemeanors, but he managed to take his tag off. But the thing was, he couldn't leave it in the house 24 hours a day because then people would know that he took it off and it wasn't working properly, and they'd come round to have a look. So he used to get people to take his tag for a walk, and they'd just come along and go, all right, Dave, yeah, I'll take your tag out. And they'd go to the park with the kids and take the tag with them. Oh, look, Dave's gone to the park. And then they'd come back, drop it off. And then it looked like he'd been going out during the day. Then at night, when he was meant to be home, he could go to the pub. This is the same thing. It's genius. And it's entirely my own creation. Carbon credit sharing for the individual person. I cannot see how this will fail. So there you have it. The carbon experiment that I'm on is, whilst driving a diesel car down the motorway. Bearing in mind, I forgot that I also filled the car up with diesel. I'm sure that's eating into my allowance a fair bit. So it's a genius idea. This experiment has brought forward some brilliant thoughts. There you go. I've made a mockery of the entire system. I've made it work for everyone, not just for the big boys. And I very much expect to be taking Ed Millipede's job very soon. Have a lovely weekend. I am off to a 50th birthday party tonight to use more of my beer credits up. So tomorrow I may need to borrow some. So if you're not going out tonight, send me a message, let me know I can have your beer credits for tomorrow, because it's Super Sunday and I'm probably going to go out. And then we'll talk about Benidorm next week at a later date. Have a lovely time. Future my arse.